Preston in Denver, listening on AM 760. Hey, Preston. Climate change?
Yes, and I was thinking about how the news of climate change can feel so overwhelming, and the news about mountaintop removal to get to coal and the tar sands deforestation and the ocean acidification and so much else, and then the economic injustice going on to top it all off. But you were talking about Darwin and love and about evolution and cooperation, and I wanted to share some thoughts of and some examples of how that's going on, where I see it going on. For example, so many civic organizations and faith communities that are active on climate and economic issues. The Unitarian churches and the Quakers across the country are doing great work, and also the business community. And we have allies in the business community, like the insurance industry and the ski industry, both of whom are very concerned about climate change issues.
Yeah, the reinsurance industry is actually the one that's most concerned about it because they backstop the insurance industry.
And I was wondering also, what are your thoughts about other approaches like natural capitalism? I know Al Gore and Bill Clinton both have been proponents of that, and what Van Jones wrote about, the green collar economy. I see those as being, I'm not much.
I think all that stuff works, Preston, once you capture externalities. And that's the big piece of the equation that very few people are talking about. The fact that if we factored into the cost of a gallon of gas the price to have the Fifth Fleet protect the ExxonMobil shipping lines from Saudi Arabia to wherever their port is on the East Coast or in the Gulf. If you factored into the cost of a gallon of gasoline at the tank, or the price of oil or natural gas that's being used to power a power plant or whatever, if you factored into that the cost of the cancers that are the result of burning and releasing fossil fuels, and the pollution of the water caused by the reinjection of fracking liquids, which are in many cases simply the waste materials of refining processes of fossil fuels, of oil principally. If you factored in the cost for our coal power plants of these giant coal slurry, waste piles that are all over the United States that are now, one just, polluted a river in West Virginia yesterday. If all of that stuff was factored into the cost of these fossil fuels, they would become more expensive than wind and solar. And that would push the market in an appropriate direction. And then you could have your green collar economy, and then you could have your natural capitalism, all that kind of stuff. But as long as these guys control Congress, as long as they control the political agenda, as long as they control the media, much of the media agenda through the power of big money, because the Supreme Court said that money is protected by the First Amendment, as long as that's the case, it's going to be really, really hard to have those natural systems work the way they should. Am I making sense, Preston?
All very good points.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. I also wanted to point out, though, we do have some allies in local governments. I know some cities have actually gone beyond the Kyoto Protocol requirements. They're expanding their light rail, they're planting trees, they're putting up solar, they're building neighborhoods that make sense, mixed use, with homes and businesses, instead of auto dependency with the suburban sprawl that we so often are. That's my conspiracy. I think the auto industrial complex has been doing some things that are incredibly inefficient and expensive and forces into.
On the other hand, you've got one of the car makers. I mean, I think the Chevy Volt is a masterpiece, a brilliant piece of engineering, and I expect to see a lot more that kind of hybrid technology, mixed technology, true hybrid technology. And next year, one of the Japanese auto manufacturers is coming out with a hydrogen fuel cell car. So step by step by step. Preston, thanks a lot for the call.